We have made some wild discoveries over the years in regards to ancient excavations. Massive stone statues to underground cities, much of human history has been forgotten and left to be rediscovered thousands of years later. In this video, we will cover a few of the most shocking underground discoveries that changed history forever. As usual, we have saved the best entry for last, so stick around. Lasco Cave. Lasco is the name given to a series of caves that can be found in southwestern France. Inside of these caves, over 600 wall paintings were discovered that cover the interior walls and ceilings, telling countless stories of a life that once was. The paintings are predominantly composed of animals, such as livestock, that are estimated to have been created during the Paleolithic era. The paintings are known to have taken place over many generations. No one is entirely sure how old the paintings are or how long they took to be completed, but we expect them to have most likely been painted over several hundred years. Some have estimated the paintings to be around 17,000 years old, but that number's never been confirmed and unlikely to be true. The first entrance to these caves was discovered in 1940 by an 18-year-old named Marcel Ravidat. He was traveling around the area with his dog, who happened to fall in a hole. Marcel called for help and returned to the area with 3 friends. They realized that the hole led to a small cave, which was estimated to be about 50 feet below the surface of the ground. The group of friends entered the caves and explored them briefly before informing the proper authorities about their discovery. By 1941, experts had begun to unearth the remainder of the cave and document their findings. They found several walkways, each of which depicted a different type of artwork. These included the Hall of Bulls, the passageway, the shaft, the Chamber of Felines, and several others. Experts began to make copy drawings of the cave paintings so that they could be studied and filed away for future generations to research. Just a few years later, in 1948, the caves were open to the public as a tourist attraction. Thousands of individuals flocked to the area, with numbers totaling about 1,200 visitors a day. However, by 1955, the paintings were becoming visibly damaged from all of the traffic. Experts believe that the deterioration of the paintings was due to carbon dioxide, heat, humidity, and other natural contaminants that were causing the ink and paint to fade. By 1963, the caves were closed to the public. They are now monitored daily to ensure that no one makes entry into the caves without proper approval. Today, these paintings serve as a valuable reminder of a long-forgotten time. The paintings depict several types of animals and livestock that may not even exist anymore, and offer one of the most clearest depictions of humans' long-lost past. Xi'an Terracotta Army. Qin Shi Huang is known as the first emperor of Qin and was founder of the Qin dynasty. He became a king when he was just 13 years old and became an emperor when he was 38. During his time as a ruler, he helped to expand the size of China and conquered many nearby areas that remain under China's control today. He made major political advancements and is considered to be responsible for the Great Wall of China. He ruled for many years until his death in 210 BC. He was then buried in a mausoleum that was not rediscovered until 1974. In March of that year, a group of brothers was digging near a well when they came across several small pieces of bronze, terracotta, and arrowheads. The men collected these artifacts and sold them to locals in nearby shops and markets. It wasn't long until archaeologists became aware of the discovery and began an excavation of the land. They discovered a large pit in May of 1974 and found a second pit in May of 1975. Several others were found over the years until 2008, when a large area comprising of several pits was found. By 2012, researchers announced that they had unearthed a large imperial palace that was estimated to be around 690 meters long and 250 meters wide. Inside, researchers found over 8,000 soldier buildouts of terracotta that were standing guard over the tomb of Qin Shi Huang. Another 130 chariots were found that were being pulled by 500 horses. Several musician statues, acrobats, and civilians were found as well. The discovery is considered to be one of the greatest historical findings in Chinese history, and is a testament to the amount of power that Chinese emperors had over their fellow civilians all those years ago. The mausoleum is said to have been constructed from 246 BC to 208 BC, but no one is certain how long the mausoleum had been forgotten. Venus de Milo. Venus de Milo is one of the most famous works of ancient Greek art. The statue was originally assumed to have been crafted by a sculptor known as Praxiteles, but has now been proven to be the work of Alexandros of Antioch. The statue is estimated to have been crafted between 130 and 100 BC, and is assumed to be a physical depiction of the Greek goddess Aphrodite. It is made entirely of marble and is 6 feet 8 inches tall. It is currently displayed in Paris, but part of an arm and a plinth were lost after its discovery. No one is sure why the right arm of the statue was never completed. There is a small hole that was drilled below the statue's breast that originally contained metal support for the right arm, though this arm was never crafted. Even though this statue is now considered to be one of the most beloved sculptures ever created, it spent nearly 2,000 years buried on the island of Melos in Greece. The statue was unearthed until 1820 when it was found by a peasant who discovered the upper portion of the statue while searching for marble fragments from ancient ruins. A French officer was digging for ancient artifacts nearby and noticed the statue as well. The statue was then unearthed and presented to King Louis XVIII. Since its discovery, many have speculated whether the sculpture originally had arms or if it was left unfinished for some reason. This has caused many historians to wonder what the goddess could have been holding before its arms were broken, if she ever even had arms at all. This statue has become one of the most popular statues in the world, and it is all thanks to a peasant who was simply looking for scraps of marble to sell to help feed his family. Darren Kuyu Underground City. The country of Turkey is said to be home to dozens of underground cities and caves, many of which remain undiscovered. One of these cave systems is known as Darren Kuyu, which contains 18 separate levels and enough space to house an estimated 20,000 people. Strangely, this cave system was only discovered in 1962 when a local man knocked down a wall while renovating his home. Behind this wall, he found a passageway that led to a large network of tunnels, hallways, and chambers. Experts who have visited the site are still unsure of who built the cave system or what its purpose was. Inside, researchers have found several small shops, wells, stables, meeting areas, and heavy stone doors that would have protected its citizens from any potential threats. The Rosetta Stone. Napoleon Bonaparte launched an Egyptian campaign in the late 18th century that brought along several scientists and historians who worked to collect relics from the area and study the country's ancient history. Known as the Institute of Egypt, this research project proved to be quite beneficial when workers came across a large chunk of rock while knocking down several walls and renovating an area near the town of Rosetta. This stone was estimated to have been crafted in 2nd century BC and was inscribed with a decree that had been etched in 3 different languages, including Greek, Demotic, and hieroglyphics. It took experts 20 years to decipher the code that had been written on the tablet. But this tablet proved to be the single most useful discovery in helping to decode ancient Egyptian languages and writings. Uluburn Shipwreck. Back in 1982, a diver was on a mission off the coast of Turkey in the Mediterranean Sea. He dove to the bottom of the ocean and found a large 50-foot sunken ship that had been in the area for a considerable amount of time. He helped organize a crew to search the ship for treasures and artifacts and found several ceramic jars and hundreds of pieces of glass, copper, and tin. Researchers spent the next decade researching the findings, and they discovered that the jars had been used to contain valuables such as elephant tusks, hippopotamus teeth, and jewelry. The crew even came across a scarab that had been engraved with the name of an Egyptian queen known as Nefertiti. Experts estimated the ship to be around 3,000 years old, making it one of the oldest shipwrecks ever discovered. Historians still have no idea why the boat was carrying so many valuables or where the boat even came from. A shipment of copper on the boat was traced to Cyprus, but researchers also found artifacts from several other countries that are scattered across the world. The best guess is that this was a merchant ship that was being operated by an international crew, but that is just speculation. Tutankhamun's tomb. One of the most influential and important discoveries of all time involved Howard Carter's excavation of the Valley of Kings, which took place in 1922. The tomb of King Tut was unearthed, and even though the king was considered to be politically irrelevant during his reign, this marked one of the most important ancient Egyptian excavations to have ever taken place. This excavation was particularly important because it had remained untouched by robbers for thousands of years. It was extremely unusual for the period, with Howard Carter regarding that the discovery and the tomb was filled with wonderful things, that would likely be important in human history for many years to come.